Howdy y'all, my name is Gretchen. I'm the Restless Thrifter and I'm a reseller on eBay, Poshmark, and other platforms. I have 7 sales I'm packing up, all eBay except for one Mercari. And these are from the last few days. I missed the weekend. To be honest, I did miss the weekend. So we are going to start right away and get into it. And then I'm going to try to remember to tell you a little bit about my sales at my in-person store. I just have a rack inside a store inside a store. It's very meta. So I'll tell you about that. The first one I'm going to pack up is something that sold same day or in one day. J. Crew size XXL midi dress, floral, navy blue, tiered, jersey knit cottage prairie. Very cute, simple, yet, it fits a couple aesthetics. Somebody offered me $30 and I took that. $30 plus shipping. Let me get to the actual sold items here. In Vendoo, it might take me a minute because I've been updating a bunch of listings and yeah, it kind of got buried. So I had it listed for $34.96. They sent me an offer for $30. Like I said, it sold same day or within the same 24 hours. With shipping, they paid $38.19. My cost of goods was $6.90. I did look this up. I started to get really good about looking things up, and it's got to have some solds at least. Unless it's just one of those like vintage from the heart, there's no listed, but there's no sold, one of those types things. But if it's going to be a brand like a mall brand like J. Crew, it needs to have some solds. Plus size and mall brands can perform better than regular sizes. I think if you've been selling for any amount of time, you know that by now. I really have been listing a lot of plus size. That is what I always thrift in first, pretty much always. I got this at a local thrift store, probably Salvation Army. I just don't think I wrote it down. Did I? No. The ASP for this dress was $29, so that was pretty spot on. I'm weighing it at 13.7. Round that up to 14. It's in a 10 by 13 poly mailer. I think 640. Yeah, 640 is how much it will cost to ship. I do charge for shipping, but as you know, on eBay, I have to turn around and buy that label. My fees were $5.48. The great thing about it being in one day is I didn't have it promoted yet. I promote after 2 weeks of it being listed. So my profit was $19.41. It was almost that amount where I want it to be 30 plus shipping or more as the sale price and $20 or more for the profit. That's on average across everything is what I'd like it to be. Some higher, some lower. I didn't hit that last month, but we'll see about this month. When you take into consideration my in-store rack sales, those are pretty low. So that's going to bring it down. So I'll have to take that into consideration. This dress was actually at another in-store rack that failed called the Plaid Fox. It was a neat idea. It did not work. Maybe it was the location. Maybe it was not the right people selling. I don't know. Not much of my stuff sold, I will tell you that. And nobody bought this when it was there for like 3 weeks. So it sold in one day online. I'm going to make more when I list things online anyway. But I am still trying the in-person things to push some stuff out that's not going to make as much online as, it's not going to have that $20 profit that I'm looking for. Okay. Especially when I get a lot of free things from family members. So that's the first one. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I try to do this for all my sales and share with you what's selling in real time. That's going to Maryland. Seems like a very Maryland style, very preppy, coastal, comfy. What am I doing? Okay. The next one is this fresh produce, size large, hoodie, tunic top cover up, fish print, pockets, gauzy, and then flaw in all caps. Can't remember what the flaw was, probably some stains that I tried to get out and couldn't. I would have sold this for more had it not been flawed. As it was, I listed it low. They sent me an offer of 15 plus shipping. I took that. It was an eBay sale as well. Fresh produce in general, if it's a cool enough looking item, I will get it. Like, I thought this was a fun fish print. But solids, basics, I've had some bad luck with. With shipping, they paid $21.53. Cost of goods was $3.24. Marketplace fees were also $3.24, and it sold in 3 months. Not a terrible overall sale, but I could have listed it for, had it listed for $25, and I probably could have gotten closer to that had it been not too flawed. It has a spot near the bottom that I couldn't get out. That's what I said. I always disclose it in writing and in photos, and sometimes, not always, I'll put flaw or read or something like that in the title. All right, it weighs 8.1, which is unfortunate because then it's going to go up. So I'm going to round it up to 9. That'll be the 12-ounce rate. La, la, la. That's okay. It's going to be $5.62 to ship. Not bad. And my profit was $9.43. So today's Monday, June 16th. I went out this morning. Thank you, Tanya, for buying me a coffee or caffeinated beverage, because I went to Dutch Bros and got my favorite of the Rebel Energy iced drinks. It's called a Shark Attack. I love it because it has the pomegranate. It's very, very tart and tangy. Love it. And I'll put a picture of said drink. And I was on my way down to Ferris to go restock my rack. I pulled a whole bunch of stuff, like a whole IKEA bag full of stuff that I'd had out on the rack for the first month. It's been a full month. And I'm like, I need to refresh it completely. And a lot of that stuff I'm going to list online, thinking it'll do better anyway. But what I was trying to do, my process was going to be, once I get it ready to list, take it down to the rack, try to sell it quick flip there for lower dollar. I don't have to photograph. I don't have to measure. I don't have to ship. I do have to look it over for flaws, clean it, tag it, steam it, whatever. So there's still a lot of work involved. But if I can make a quick $4 or $5, maybe even more if it's something else, then that's great. And then, maybe there's more bulk there. That is my idea of how I want to do things, is before I get it listed online. And then I'm going to pull anything that I think could be listed online based on trends and stuff that I see, or just pull things that have been there for long enough where people who are coming back as repeat buyers will be like, I've seen all this stuff before. It needs to be freshened up pretty thoroughly every month, I think. And since I can only get down there every week or two, that's why I kind of had to do it in bulk. I couldn't do it like as we go every day going out there. It's about an hour away from me. Okay, so next sale, I think it's another eBay. That one is going to Maine, by the way, that fish print tunic. This one is Torrid size XS top. It's a 6X. XS. What did I say? XS. 6X. My brain did something with the letters and the numbers. Top, waffle thermal V-neck, long sleeve, lace mesh inset coquette. Really cute thermal top. I do have a mid-size dress form. It is better for showing plus sizes, but for a 6X, it's still not going to be a true representation. Like, this looks more like a mini dress, but sometimes I'll put it on the hanger on the wall, but then it looks really shapeless. And so I'm like, no, at least they can get an idea. Sometimes I'll pin, like if it's a dress, with a cinched waist or something. I'll pin it in the back to give it a better idea. But then I want to show the pins to let people know that's what I'm doing. What am I doing? I'm going to get a 12 by 16 poly mailer. And sometimes I just put it on the dress form as is. And, you know, I always put the measurements, so that helps. All right. There we go, 12 by 16. Don't ask me where to get one of these dress forms because I bought this from a fellow reseller who like came into several of them, and it was pretty expensive. I want to say it was like almost $200 with shipping and everything because this one's heavy. This weighs, I'm going to have to round up to 1 pound. It's going to Wisconsin. And we're going to say 1 pound even. The shipping will be $6.89. My fees $4.30. Cost of goods $4.32. They sent me an offer of $18. It had only been listed a little while. How long? 1 day. But I went ahead and took that. I had it listed for $22.18. I'm like, okay, I'll eventually probably end up selling it for that anyway. So I took that rather than countering, and with shipping they paid $29.07. In my mind, people only want to know about how much I paid, how much the overall price sold was, and how much profit it is. But some people want to know shipping and fees. So I've just been giving you all those numbers. It seems like a lot. Okay, what did I make on that? $13.56. I do like to pick up even larger plus sizes like 5X, 6X, 4X. Because 1X, 2X is a little bit more common, easier to find than those larger ones. All right. Another Torrid. I think I've got 2 more Torrid. Plus size 5X top, fit and flare, button up, tie sleeve, country, summer, romantic. For some reason, I'm really wanting to wear a lot of blue this summer. And so that's why I got this. I was like, ooh, I love this. It doesn't fit me, but if it did, I probably would have ended up keeping it. This is I kind of like that. Somewhere between boho and preppy. That's my style. And the blue gives it that like coastal look too. I don't know. It's just, I've been attracted to blues, whether I'm buying for myself or not. This is going to Connecticut. Coastal. Connecticut on the coast. It's on the East Coast. Is it on the coast? Is there a little bit? Surely there is. 13 ounces. And it will be $6.57 to ship. I got this during the March collaboration with Jen the reseller. We went to thrift stores every single day for 5 days, 6 days. I don't know, a long time. I'll tell you that. I would like to thrift that often, trust me, but I got so much stuff. I'm still making my way through listing it. Whew, yeah. I kind of dug myself into a death pile there. I paid $2.16. Pretty sure I got this at Thrift Giant on a 50% off day. Price with shipping was $28.02. They paid $19.69 plus shipping through an offer to watchers in 1.5 weeks of it being listed. And my marketplace fees were $4.18, so my profit was $15.11. And I think the next one is also Torrid. Let me look. I go one by one because if I try to do more than one at a time or print out a bunch of things, it doesn't work. And this one's actually Mercari. This is a Bad Bunny sweatshirt. I didn't know who Bad Bunny was. I thought it had a cool graphic on front and back. I looked it up. I said, oh, Bad Bunny's cool. I bought this a couple years ago. I think Bad Bunny's even cooler now. Or maybe he's becoming mainstream, so he's not cool. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know what the youngins are into. But I paid 1081 for this, thinking it was going to sell much more quickly. It took a year and 5 months to sell. Sold through an offer to watchers for 24.19. It was on Mercari. But you know what? I'm going to be putting it in an eBay polymailer anyway. The person who bought this messaged me, said they're very excited. They've been wanting to find something with this particular graphic on it. So I'm like, I've had it listed for a year. Why couldn't you find it? Maybe I didn't have the right keywords. My title was Bad Bunny Hoodie, Unisex Size Small Sweatshirt, Ugly Primo Art. I don't know why I say that. Is that Ugly Primo Art? Is that a typo? Is that the name of the album? I don't know. And then it says Primo, Ugly Primo Art un Verano Sin Ti album. Anyway, it has a couple of small, light, minor marks on it. I had it listed for more originally, and then I dropped it to $29.96. Then the offer to watcher went out. They accepted, so they paid $24.19 plus shipping after marketplace fees of $3.26 and my high cost of goods. I only made $10.12. When you pay up for things, which that for me is pretty much paying up, you want to probably be sure there's actually solds. I don't remember. It's been too long for me to know whether there were solds on this. It's going to New Jersey. I got to figure out how to find the label again. What? Open QR code. Check out our shipping tips. QR code. Powered by. Need to change the ship from. Recreate your QR code on the order status page. Print out the label we sent to your email. But did you though? Well, create shipping label. And see, when I click that, it tells me it's already in transit because I had marked it as shipped because I was going to get this to UPS today, but then I did not go yet. And so what will I do? I don't know. I've done this before. I think I just messaged them and they sent me the label. So I will do that after I finish the rest of it. But I made 10.12 on that, and it was ultimately a bad buy. Okay, now we've got a great buy, but it took longer than I thought actually. Johnny Was size medium tunic top, Cupra rayon embroidered blue eyelet semi-sheer boho. This is going to California. What is funny is I was just complaining to some friends how this hadn't sold yet, and it sold through an offer to watcher. I do believe I paid up significantly for this because I have a hard time saying no to some Johnny Was. You didn't see my recent YouTube short. I found Johnny Was recently too, but it was like one of those, I think it's cotton. The Cupra rayon doesn't sell as well as the silk, and I don't think the cotton sells as well as the silk or the rayon. But the more embroidery, the better, or the more like colorful, the better I found. This has a lot of embroidery. Very cute and flowy. There were a couple of pulls on it. It sold in 3 months, which is good. I had paid $32.46. That's insane, y'all. I just couldn't leave it behind. but that's insane. I shouldn't have done that. With shipping, they paid $65.15. My fees, $8.36. That was kind of nuts. It worked out, but it was kind of nuts. My shipping cost is $4.71. So my profit is almost that $20, $19.62. I did look it up. But that was pretty risky, paying that much, tying up that much money into inventory that could sell faster. And I have one more sale. It's the last Torrid item. This actually belonged to me many years ago when I would have fit into a 0X bra. No, but I don't think I ever wore it because it is not comfortable, not my style. Or maybe it didn't even fit. I don't know. Okay, let's go back up. There it is. It's a Torrid plus size 0X, which is basically like an extra large. Bra, bralette, black strappy, lace, sexy, coquette, baddie. Do I even know what that means? Probably not. Do I think I know what it means? Yeah. It's sold on eBay. It's going to Virginia. It sold for $18 plus shipping. That was through a customer offer. I had it listed for $22.96. Sold after 11 months. It was promoted, so my fees were higher. My fees were $6.49. With shipping, they paid $23.72. For purposes of this video, I'm going to say that I paid zero for this, when in reality, I don't know what I paid. Probably at least $20 many years ago. I do like to try to find my original cost of goods so I can include that. But I'll have to dig through some emails or log into my Torrid account, see if that information is still there. Putting it in the 6x9 poly mailer. It weighs 3 ounces. It weighs only 2.1, but I'm rounding that up. And shipping is $4.25, which is probably the cheapest shipping will ever be for me. And I made $12.98 or negative amount that I'm getting something out of my closet that I don't wear anymore. I think I already said, but it's going to Virginia. And it took 11 months to sell. So that's everything. I'll screenshot how much I made total on these items. I've already made a few more today, but I'm going to include today's sales tomorrow because, so these would be Saturday and Sunday sales. Yeah, I don't think it includes Friday. I think I already did Friday, but on my thumbnail, I put the dates because it always takes me a little bit to figure out what dates things were. So let me tell you a little bit about the in-person. I think it went really well for the first 2 weeks. The second 2 week period has slowed down a bit, but we're still getting sales. We're still doing well. But the excitement within the first 2 weeks of this space opening in the vendor mall in Ferris, it's called the Clothing Collective. And I have a rack in there. My friend who's running the Clothing Collective, like this is her brainchild, and she's managing it, marketing it, and I'm just renting from her, space from her. And then the owner of the store, of the whole vendor mall, is renting space from her as well as someone else. And she may expand from there. It would be really great if I could keep this going as an ongoing thing. It's all going to depend on whether I can have enough inventory and the right inventory at a low enough cost of goods. Like I'm talking 50 cents, less than $1 per item, or free from people, family members, whomever, to be able to sustain it, because I'm not going to make a lot per item. But to give you an idea, I made $216 in overall sales. That was minus the commission that they take, which is only 10%. Okay. And that does not subtract my monthly rack fee. Okay. But let's just call it 200 even then. Okay. Um, if we were to subtract the rack fee for those 2 weeks, for those 2 weeks, we'll just say 200. And then after you take into consideration cost of goods, a lot of my stuff was either low or free, but not all of it. So I'm pulling it up right now. It's going to take a second. I've got it all labeled and everything. I don't know if everything's in here yet. I'm not sure. I have to go back and double check. Um, Going forward, it should be easier for me to um, pull this information, but because I didn't have inventory numbers on everything to start with. But it looks like profit wise, I'm making, let me subtract the rack, would be like $125 within those 2 weeks. But that shows 49 sold items, and I think there was already more. So um, that would be the minimum I want to do in order to keep going, because it does take some time to get it all ready. But if I can get a good process going and I can start going to the bins and getting lower cost of good items, that'll be good to have another source, another outlet, so to speak. So it's fun, and I'm getting to do this with a friend, so that's always fun too. I've been marketing more. If you're not following my Restless Thrifter page on Facebook, go check it out if you want to subscribe to that. Um, all this is free. I have been posting shorts that are kind of more geared toward the rack a little bit here and on TikTok, but they're the same one, so you don't need to follow me in both places. And then there's also the Clothing Collective Facebook page. I pretty much put everything on the Restless Thrifter page, but she usually gets things out there first about sales and information. So I'd love it if you were to follow both of those, so that we can grow that audience too. I'll put that information down in the description. So thank you, Tanya, for fueling my day. I am still on a caffeine high. Bye, y'all, and just keep listing.